Hello children, welcome to 9th standard biology class. You have learnt in your previous class about the cell and its structure. What are the organelles present in the cell? You have learnt already in 8th standard. Today let us learn about even the body organization. In organisms also you have learnt in 7th standard. Means the body of all living organisms is made up of one or more cells. So that some organisms have only one cell in the body. For example, amoeba, euglena, paramecium, etc. And all functions, movement, digestion, respiration, excretion, all these body functions are carried out by only one cell itself. But if you consider the complex organisms, the body is made up of many cells, a few cells to millions of cells, so that their body has a proper organization in their body design. What is it? You have learned cells. The cells are grouped to form tissues. Tissues are grouped to form organs. Organs are grouped to form organ systems, so that the whole body is designed in multicellular organisms. Let us consider now a group of cells will be specialized in a particular function. For example, muscle cells in our body. All the muscle cells contract and relax and cause movement of the body. And blood in our body. It's also a group of cells which transports oxygen, food and waste materials in our body. So that even in plants, if you consider, food and water are transported through a particular group of cells. So that a group of cells will be specialized in a function. What do we call such? In a definite place, a group of cells which performs a specific function. We use the term tissue. So what is a tissue then? Tissue is a group of cells which performs a specific function, and the tissue is arranged and which is very efficient in carrying out the different body functions. And different tissues in our body or in the body of plants which are organized to perform different functions, and there is division of labor in our body also or in the body of living organisms also. Now let us learn, are plants and animals made up of the same type of tissues? What difference is there, and what are the types of plant tissues and what are the types of animal tissues? You are going to learn in this chapter. So now you can see the definition of a tissue. Means cells specializing in one function are grouped together in the body. Means they perform, a group of cells perform a particular function. We call it a tissue. A group or cluster of cells called a tissue is arranged and designed so as to give the highest efficiency of function. Our body or plant body can function efficiently with the proper arrangement of these tissues. Which are the examples of tissues? Blood and muscle are animal tissues. Phloem is a plant tissue. Xylem is a plant tissue. Are the examples of tissues. Now you can define what is a tissue. What is a tissue? Tissue is a group of cells that are similar in structure and function. We call it a tissue. Now I asked you, are plants and animals made up of the same type of tissues? No, you can see the structure of a plant body and an animal body. There are lot of difference between them. You know that plants cannot move from one place to another. They are fixed, stationary, so that they need more support to stand erect. So plant tissues are providing them a mechanical strength and support. Most of the plant tissues are supportive in function, and usually Since they need more support, dead cells give mechanical strength and support to the body. So, the difference note, plant tissues, most of the plant tissues contain dead cells to provide them with mechanical strength and support to the body to stand erect. But if you observe the animals actively moving here and there in search of food, water and mates, so that can they have very inactive dead cells like plants? It is impossible. They consume more energy than plants since they are actively moving around. So all the tissues in plants, almost all the tissues in plants have living cells. That is one difference between the plants and animals. And one more difference you can note is the growth. How the growth occurs in plants. You might have observed growth is limited or restricted to only certain regions. The stem part grows, the root part grows, or the tip of the branch grows, the tip of the stem grows, the tip of the roots grows. Can you compare it with your body? Is it possible only your hand growing or only your leg itself growing? It is not at all possible. Means in animals, in the body of animals, the growth is uniform. It is not limited to certain parts. So that here again the tissues which support growth here are different from the tissues that support growth in animals here. Because of growth, plants contain actively dividing cells because only at a particular region the plant grows. At the tip of the stem, at the tip of the roots, tip of the branches, etc. continuously dividing cells form a special growing tissue there called meristematic tissue. It is not in case of animals. They contain the different types of tissues which support their movements. Muscles contract and relax and bring about movement in animals. That is totally different in animals because in animals growth is uniform. It is not limited to certain places or certain regions. And the structure of plant tissue is not so specialized because the plant, you have learnt in your previous classes that plants have tissue grade of organization. They do not have organs and organ systems, but animals have organ system grade of organization, and the organs and organ systems in animals are highly developed because they need more energy also, more specialized functions the tissues have to carry out there. So they have a very complex body design also, and plants have very simple body design because even the tissues are also not so specialized. These are the differences between plant and animal tissues. Let us see now the classified plant tissues. Let us learn about the types of plant tissues. How to classify the plant tissues? Plant tissues are broadly classified into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. What is meant by meristematic tissue? This meristematic tissue means only in the growing regions they are present. As I told you earlier, the growth is limited or restricted to certain regions in plants, so that meristematic tissue is present in all the growing regions because this tissue has the cells which have the capacity to divide continuously throughout their life, so that the growth occurs at the tip of the stem, tip of the roots, tip of the branches continuously because of this meristematic tissue which is meant only for growth in plants. And permanent tissue, they lost the ability of dividing further, so that meristematic tissue cells only differentiated after when they grow and mature, they change into permanent tissues. Let us learn about the types of meristematic tissue. according to or based on the location or region where they are present, they are of three types. Which are the three types of meristematic tissues according to the region where they are present? Let us see the figure here. Look at the structure or location of meristematic tissue in plant body. You can see the three types of meristems. Look at here at the tip of the stem or shoot. What is the meristem present? It is apical meristem. That position itself, name of the position itself tells you it is at the apex of the plant. So apical meristem, which is present at the tip of the root or at the tip of the stem. It is meristematic. Apical meristem means where is it present? At the tip of the stem or at the tip of the roots. This type of meristem is present. And you can see another type of meristem called intercalary meristem. As the name tells, it is present at the internodes. So the position node, this is the internode or the base of the leaves. So where is intercalary meristem located? It is present at the base of the leaf or at the internodes. So now, what is the function of apical meristem? As the name tells, already I have told you, meristematic tissue is present in the growing regions. So all three types of meristems, which are the apical, intercalary and lateral meristems, they help in the growth only. But what type of growth they help in? Let us see this apical meristem. Since it is presented at the tip of the root and stem, they help to increase the size of the length of the stem or root. So increase in the stem or length of the root and stem is increase in the root and stem. Length of the root and stem is due to apical meristem. So apical meristem helps in increasing the length of the stem and root. And what about intercalary meristem? Intercalary meristem is present at the base of the leaf, which helps in formation of branches, etc. So this is present at the internodes, base of the leaves, so that helps in branching. Again, helps in growth only. Now look at the position of lateral meristem. This lateral meristem, as the name tells, lateral sides of the plant body has lateral meristem. And how it helps? It helps in increasing the girth of the stem or root. Means the root or stem grows in thickness. It means the circumference or girth of the root and stem increases by lateral meristem. So these are the three types of meristems based on the location or region where they are present in the plants. So once recall what I have discussed now. Meristematic tissue is a tissue that occurs in the growing regions of the plant which helps in growth. Tissue meant only for growth. Now why it helps in growth? Because this tissue consists of continuously dividing cells throughout their life and present or located in the growing tips. Now depending on the region, there are three types: apical, lateral and intercalary meristems. And how are the cells of meristematic tissue? The meristematic tissue cells are, as I told, actively dividing cells, so that they have very thick or dense cytoplasm with prominent nuclei, and vacuoles are absent here. Why they do not contain vacuoles? Here you can note the functional difference between apical, lateral and intercalary meristem. So they are responsible, apical meristems are responsible for the growth of stems and roots in the plants, means increase in the length of stem and roots, and they are found at the tips of roots and stems. And lateral meristems are responsible for increase in circumference or girth of the roots and stems, or middle part of the stem means increase in the girth of roots and stems, and hence are found there. And intercalary meristems are present at the end nodes or base of the leaves. Yes, and now let us try to understand why these. I told you the structure of meristematic tissue. It consists of continuously dividing active cells with the thin cell wall, cellulose cell wall, very thin and dense cytoplasm it has, and vacuoles are lacking here. Why vacuoles are absent there? You have learnt in 8th standard that vacuoles perform the function of storage of food and water. Here, these meristematic cells do not store food and water, they manufacture them. So, there is no need to store them since they do not have vacuoles. One more point you note here, vacuoles contain cell sap which provides rigidity to cell, but that rigidity is not necessary for this meristematic tissue. So, they may not allow the intercalary tissues to divide because they are continuously dividing. If vacuoles are there, they do not allow the cells for division, active division. So, for these 2 points, they do not contain vacuoles. Try to write, give reason why there are no vacuoles in the intercalary meristem. Now, let us go to another type of plant tissues called permanent tissues. Permanent tissue means here, as I told, this permanent tissue is derived from meristematic tissue only. Means the cells of meristematic tissue, when they mature and grow, they differentiate into another type of tissue called permanent tissue. Now let us try what is meant by differentiation. The process by which cells of meristematic tissues convert themselves into a permanent tissue by how? Taking a fixed shape, function and size is called differentiation. So, differentiation is a process by which meristematic tissues take up a special function, size and shape, specific or fixed shape, size and function. It is called differentiation. Now let us see the types of permanent tissues. There are 2 main types of permanent tissues, simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Let us see the classification here. Simple permanent tissue consists of, again, there are many types of simple permanent tissue. Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma are the simple permanent tissues. Let us learn about parenchyma. How are the cells arranged in parenchyma and how they help? Look at the structure of parenchyma cells. This first figure is the parenchyma, which very least specialized cells with more intercellular spaces, means they are loosely arranged with the thin cellulose cell wall, loosely packed cells, living cells. So, parenchyma are thin walled, loosely arranged, least specialized cells. Let us see the functions in the next class, and you have to learn about the definition of tissue and the types of meristematic tissues and what are the differences or the functions of apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Let us continue the other types of simple permanent tissue in the next class. Thank you.